It is past midnight. You are genuinely exhausted. Your eyes are burning, and you have to be up in 6 hours. You know, with total certainty that you should go to sleep. And instead, there you are, scrolling, watching one more episode, staring at your phone in the dark, doing absolutely anything except the one thing your whole body is begging for. And here's the strange part. You are not even enjoying it. So why do you do this? Why do you sabotage your own sleep night after night when you know exactly how much you will regret it in the morning? It is not laziness, and it is not just your phone. There is a real reason, and once you see it, you can actually stop. Let me explain. Let me start by taking away the explanation you've been beating yourself up with. You have probably decided this is a discipline problem. You have no willpower. You are addicted to your phone. You are just lazy and undisciplined and a bit of a mess. So you promise yourself that tonight will be different, and it never is, and you feel worse. But that whole story is wrong, and it is missing the actual cause. This is not really about your phone, and it is not about willpower. It is about a deep human need that your day did not meet, and your late night self is desperately trying to claw it back. It even has a name. Researchers call it revenge bedtime procrastination. And once you understand the revenge part, the whole thing finally makes sense. So here's the plan. I am going to show you 3 things in order. First, what you are actually taking revenge on and why it has almost nothing to do with being tired. Second, why nighttime specifically demolishes your self-control. And third, how to genuinely fix it. And I promise you the fix is not just try harder to go to bed. Let's start with the revenge. The first thing to understand is that staying up late is your brain reclaiming time that finally feels like yours. Think honestly about your whole day. For most of it, you were not in charge. You were answering to a job, to a boss, to deadlines, to chores, to other people's needs, to 100 small obligations that were not really your choice. Hour after hour of your day belonged to someone or something else. And then, finally, late at night, the demands stop. Everyone else is asleep. Nobody wants anything from you. And for the first time all day, your time is genuinely, completely your own. That is what you are protecting when you refuse to go to bed. You are not choosing scrolling over sleep. You are choosing freedom over sleep. A few precious hours that belong to you and no one else. And your tired brain has decided they are worth more than the rest you desperately need. I know this one intimately because I am a repeat offender. There were stretches where my days were wall-to-wall, work, errands, obligations, and I would get into bed genuinely wrecked and then just lie there and pick the phone back up. Not even to do anything in particular, just to have 20 more minutes that belonged to me. I was not tired of sleeping. I was hungry for a piece of my own day, and midnight was the only place I could reliably find one. This is exactly why it is called revenge. It is a small, quiet act of rebellion against a day that gave you no time for yourself. The idea actually caught fire a few years ago from a phrase that spread online, describing exactly this feeling, staying up late to take back the time your day had stolen from you. It resonated instantly and everywhere because it turns out an enormous number of people quietly do this and had simply never had a name for it. So if this is you, you are very much not alone. You are just a card-carrying member of a huge, tired, rebellious club. And here's the proof that this is the real driver. Research has found that the people most likely to do this are often the ones with the least control over their daytime hours, the busiest, the most overscheduled, the ones whose days are most tightly claimed by other people. It is not the lazy who steal hours from their own sleep. It is the exhausted and the overcommitted. There is something almost poignant about that. When you sit with it, the busier and more responsible your life gets, the more of it you quietly hand over to everyone else, and the more that hidden hunger for your own time builds up until it finally comes out sideways at the 1 hour of the day that nobody can take from you. The people sabotaging their sleep the hardest are very often the exact same people working the hardest all day long, which is exactly why just go to bed never works as advice. You're not fighting laziness. You are guarding something you did not get enough of all day, and part of you would rather lose sleep than give it up. The second thing is that nighttime is when your self-control is at its absolute weakest. Your willpower is not a fixed, endless supply. It runs down over the course of a day. Every decision you resist, every impulse you hold back, every hard thing you make yourself do slowly drains the tank. So by late at night, after a full day of adulting, the part of your brain responsible for self-control, the calm, sensible, future-focused part, is running on fumes. And when that part is exhausted, the impulsive part, the one that just wants easy pleasure right now, takes over almost completely. So the exact moment you most need discipline to make yourself sleep is the exact moment you have the least of it left. There is also that strange second wind that tends to show up late at night where you were nodding off on the couch at 10, but somehow at midnight you feel weirdly alert and alive again. Part of that is simply relief, pressure of the whole day finally lifting off you. And part of it is that quiet, undisturbed night hours genuinely feel good to a brain that has not had a single moment to itself, which makes the trap even stickier. Because now the stolen time does not just feel free, it feels wonderful. And it gets worse. because you are too tired to do anything meaningful with your stolen freedom anyway. You're not writing a novel at 1 a.m. You do not have the energy for anything real. So your depleted brain reaches for the cheapest, easiest hit of reward it can find, which is, of course, the phone, the feed, the autoplay. It is almost the perfect storm, honestly. You are too depleted to resist, too tired to do anything actually worthwhile with the time, and holding the single most engineered to be irresistible object ever made. Of course you lose that fight. Anyone would. The real wonder is not that you stay up scrolling. It is that you ever manage to put the thing down at all. And this is genuinely why I make this channel. So a quick thing. If you like having your own patterns explained to you like this, take 1 second and subscribe. Okay, so if the problem is a stolen sense of freedom colliding with no willpower to stop, then the fix has to come from a completely different direction than you have been trying. The third thing, and the part that actually helps, is that you cannot beat this with discipline. You have to remove the reason it exists. Here's the key insight. If you are staying up late to reclaim time that is yours, then white-knuckling yourself into bed earlier does not fix the underlying problem. It just takes away the only free time you felt you had, which is why it never sticks. The real fix is to give yourself that time somewhere else. Find even 20 or 30 minutes earlier in your day that are genuinely, unapologetically yours, doing something you actually want. Not scrolling, not collapsing, but something that feels like you chose it. When your need for your own time gets met during the day, the desperate late-night grab for it quietly loses its grip. You stop needing revenge on a day that finally gave you something, and then you make the mechanics easier. Do not rely on willpower you know will be gone by midnight. Set things up in advance while your sensible brain is still awake. Charge your phone in another room so grabbing it takes real effort. Build a wind-down routine you genuinely enjoy so bed feels like a reward instead of a punishment. It really does not have to be elaborate. A shower, a few pages of an actual book, tea, some quiet, whatever genuinely signals to your body that the day is finally done, and this next bit is soft and yours. The goal is to make the wind down itself feel like a small pocket of the very freedom you were staying up to chase, so that bed stops being the place where your free time goes to die. Here's the reframe that matters most. Stop thinking of going to sleep as giving something up, as the fun ending. Start thinking of it as a gift you are handing to tomorrow you, the version of you who has to get up and live the whole day, and who deserves to not be wrecked. And here's the warning. If you only take one thing from this, do not make it a fresh reason to call yourself lazy at midnight. The shame just makes the whole loop worse. You were never lazy. You were starved for time. So let me pull this together. You learned that staying up late when you are exhausted is revenge bedtime procrastination. Your brain reclaiming a few hours of freedom from a day that gave you none, which is why it hits hardest for the busiest, most controlled people, not the laziest. You learn that night is when your self-control is most depleted, so the impulsive part wins and reaches for the easiest reward it can find. And you learned that the fix is not more discipline. It is giving yourself real time during the day so you stop needing to steal it at night, plus making sleep the easy, rewarding choice instead of the hard one. And here's the part I really want you to keep. That stubborn refusal to go to bed is not a character flaw. It is a signal, and a pretty loud one, that your days are not leaving enough room for you. The late night scroll is not really about the phone at all. It is about a person who spent all day being needed by everyone else, quietly trying to find a corner of the day that is finally theirs. So the answer is not to shame that person into bed. It is to build them a life with enough breathing room that they do not have to fight for scraps of it at 1 a.m. Be that generous with yourself, and the sleep tends to follow. It is a much kinder way to look at a habit you have probably only ever judged yourself for. You're not undisciplined, and you're not a mess. You're just a person running low on something essential, trying, a little clumsily and at the worst possible hour, to get it back. Give it to yourself on purpose, in the daylight, and you quietly remove the entire reason to go fighting for it in the dark. So tonight, do one small thing. Before you get anywhere near your bed, carve out even 15 real minutes that are yours, on purpose, doing something you actually enjoy. And then let yourself go to sleep, not as a defeat, but as something kind you are doing for the person you have to be tomorrow. So tell me down in the comments, because I know I am not alone here. What is the thing you stay up doing when you know you should be asleep? And be honest, are you even enjoying it? Or is it pure revenge on your own day? Tell me below. And if you want another one of these truths about the machine running your habits, go watch the one on why you cannot stop scrolling, because it is the exact same brain, reaching for the exact same easy escape. I'll see you over there, ideally at a reasonable hour.